Denise Gwen, reading aloud for you from my short story, The Greasy Spoon. Chapter 25. As they crept down the hallway, it hit Nick, their reality. "We can't escape through the chutes then," he said. "The chutes?" "Yeah. Remember when Buddy first walked us toward, what did he call it, the showers?" "Yeah. We could see the loading dock, or I guess it's called an unloading dock, where they deliver the hogs, and they get pushed up the chutes and into the slaughterhouse and onto the shower room." He nodded as he realized the logistics. "So with that door shut, we can't get out through the loading docks." "Yeah," Ed said, gazing warily at him. "What are you thinking?" "I'm not sure." "Yeah," Ed said, suddenly picking up on the thread. "We can't get out through the loading bay. We can't get out through the office. And we can't get out through the employee break room." "Was there an exit in the break room?" Nick asked. "Yeah," Ed said, and a suddenly sad look filled his face. "What's wrong?" "Nick," he said, leaning against a wall and shaking his head, "Bud, I'm sorry. You've got no idea how tempted I was to hightail it out of there through that exit." "How long was I out?" "A good long while. One of the workers even showed me to the men's restroom." "Wow," Nick said, slowing to a stop. "Where was Buddy while all this was going on?" "He stayed in the office. The old farmer, Jeb, and his son slid on through at one point, noticed you were still out. They said something to one of the Latinos and left, but really for a good long while there, it was just me and a bunch of undocumented Mexicans." Ed ran his hand across his face, and Nick noticed the moisture in his eyes. "I see," Nick said, and he did see. Ed had sat around and waited for him, just waited for him to recover consciousness. He felt guilty now for his earlier, less kind feelings toward his friend, and there he was again using that word friend in a way that he thought he'd never use when it came to discussing Edward Barton III. "You know," Nick said at last, "you might have made it if you'd made a run for it." Ed nodded with a miserable smile. "Yeah, I really did consider it." Nick didn't know what else to say. Ed was a decent guy. Then again, Nick had always thought of Ed as a bit of a coward. And that belief had held true for quite some time, and a certain cynical part of him believed that Ed had been too frightened to make a break for it when he had a chance. But then he did watch with his own astonished eyes as Ed drove a knife into an old man's chest and didn't let up until he'd gone and killed him, but good. "I could have made a run for it," Ed repeated softly. Nick reached forward and patted him on the shoulder. "It's okay, bro. It's okay." He chuckled. "I'm glad you didn't. But I sure do understand how you might have wanted to hightail it on out of here." "Yeah," Ed said and drew his hand across his face. "Let's keep moving," Nick said gently. "Yeah." Nick rested the rifle loosely in the crook of his arm. He and Ed walked back down the corridor to the room where Buddy lay. They stepped over the body. "Aw, fuck, will you look at that, Ed?" Ed stood next to him. "Someone's gotta be watching us." He tilted his chin up and nodded at a tiny black camera in the ceiling. "They're watching us from somewhere. That's why they didn't do anything. They know we're stuck. There's only one way out of here." "Why'd they let their friend die?" Nick asked. I don't have the answer to that question. So, Nick said uneasily, through the shower then? Ed ran his hand across his jaw. Yep. They walked into a concrete-walled, windowless room with sprinklers above their heads. The floor, made of concrete, was slick with pink water and green and yellow mucus and puddles of excrement. And then Nick saw what was spread out on the concrete floor and let out a cry of horror.